The planet of Xelara wasn't on any official star maps, and for good reason. It was a forgotten place, nestled deep in an unexplored quadrant, rumored to be haunted by strange anomalies and bizarre tales. For Commander Jack Monroe, it was just another desperate pit stop in an otherwise doomed mission. Jack's ship, the Echo's Lament, staggered into Xelara's atmosphere, its engines wheezing with a desperate, uneven rhythm, straining against years of hard-fought survival in the void. Fuel reserves were depleted, comms were dead, and he was left with no choice but to land or drift into oblivion. As his ship descended, a lush, sprawling jungle stretched out below, vibrant with towering trees and shimmering rivers. The moment he stepped onto the planet's surface, the air felt thick and charged with an intoxicating scent, something floral and wild, like an exotic blend of unknown flora. His boots crunched against the dense undergrowth, and he cautiously scanned the surroundings. A deep, guttural roar echoed from the distance, and Jack's instincts kicked in. He gripped his plasma pistol tightly, sweat beading on his forehead. Before he could take another step, a whisper-like rustling filled the air. Then, out of the shadows, they emerged. Towering figures, each standing over 8 feet tall, cloaked in skins of iridescent blue and gold. Their forms were both delicate and formidable, their bodies adorned with intricate tribal markings that shimmered in the fading light. Their gaze, keen, calculating, and relentless, fixed on Jack with an unsettling intensity. He barely had time to react before they surrounded him. Their leader, a striking figure with long crimson hair flowing down her back, stepped forward. Her voice was a sultry blend of command and curiosity. "You are not from here," she said, her accent rich and otherworldly. Jack swallowed hard. "No. Just passing through. Lost, actually." A slow smile curved her lips. "Lost, or found?" The women closed in, their eyes drinking him in like a rare delicacy. Jack felt his pulse quicken, the weight of their presence overwhelming. He had heard legends of the Vel'arian tribes, whispered tales among space travelers. A society ruled by towering, impossibly beautiful women who thrived on dominance and an insatiable hunger for companionship, for power, for control. "You have entered the domain of the Vel'aria," the crimson-haired leader purred. "And here, choices are simple. Submit, or perish." Jack's mind raced. He could see no immediate escape, no chance to outgun them, and frankly, no desire to run just yet. He had survived pirate raids, wormhole collapses, and galactic wars, but nothing prepared him for this. "I'm not looking for trouble," he said carefully. "Just a way off this rock." The leader tilted her head, amused. "Oh, sweet traveler, you misunderstand. Trouble has already found you." Without warning, one of the women lunged, her lithe form pressing against him with alarming strength. Her touch seared through his flight suit like a live wire, sending a shiver down his spine, while the rich, musky aroma surrounding her stirred something primal deep within him. Jack struggled against the tight grip, his breath hitching as another woman traced a finger along his jawline. "Your kind is rare here," another mused, her voice a sultry whisper. "And we have appetites." Jack realized stalling wouldn't work for long. He needed a strategy, fast. "I can offer something better than submission," he said, forcing a confident smirk. "Knowledge. Skills. I can fix things, build things. I can make your lives easier." The crimson-haired leader considered this, her sharp nails tracing circles on his chest. "A bold claim. Perhaps we shall test you." Jack exhaled, relieved but still wary. His mind churned with possibilities. Was this a trap, a test, or something far worse? The weight of their eyes on him made his skin prickle, and despite the temporary reprieve, he knew one wrong move could shatter whatever fragile understanding he'd brokered. He forced himself to stay calm, but deep down, the gnawing fear of the unknown threatened to consume him. He was no stranger to dangerous negotiations, but this was entirely different. The Vel'aria were not just warriors, they were strategists, and he was now in the heart of their game. "Take him to the Hall of Trials," the leader commanded. "If he is worthy, he may yet live." 2 warriors gripped Jack's arms, their strength impossible to resist. He was marched deeper into the jungle, the towering trees closing in around him like silent sentinels. The path ahead remained uncertain, But one thing was clear: survival would demand more than just clever words and quick reflexes. As they disappeared into the dense undergrowth, Jack couldn't help but feel like a pawn in a game he didn't fully understand, one where the rules were written in whispers and shadows. And the stakes? Far higher than he could have ever imagined. Jack stumbled as the towering warriors dragged him deeper into the jungle, their grip like iron shackles cloaked in silk. The path twisted through the dense foliage, the air thick with the mingling scents of damp earth and the exotic flora that pulsed with an almost sentient vibrancy. Shadows danced under the moon's alien glow, and Jack's mind raced with calculations. His chances of escape were razor-thin. Survival? Even slimmer. The Hall of Trials wasn't a myth, after all. It was real, and he was about to face it. They emerged into a massive clearing dominated by an ancient stone structure, its jagged silhouette reaching toward the heavens like an ominous omen. Torches lined the perimeter, casting eerie shadows over carvings of battle and conquest, humans kneeling before towering Vel'arian queens in silent reverence. "Step forward, Offworlder," the crimson-haired leader commanded, her voice resonating with authority that brooked no argument. Jack squared his shoulders and stepped onto the raised platform at the structure's center. Vel'arian warriors encircled him, their gazes filled with anticipation. He felt like a gladiator stepping into the arena, with no idea what beast lay in wait. "You claim to possess knowledge and skills that could serve our tribe," the leader continued, her eyes locking onto him like a predator testing prey. "Prove it." Jack glanced around. Weapons, technology, something he could use, nothing. Only raw instinct and whatever wit he had left. "What exactly do you need?" he asked, stalling for time. A warrior with striking emerald tattoos stepped forward, tossing a shattered energy blade at his feet. "Fix it. Or face the consequences." Jack knelt, his fingers moving quickly over the fractured weapon, urgency pushing aside his curiosity. The intricate design was unlike anything he'd encountered, but the principles were familiar: power cells, focusing crystals, and circuitry. He rummaged through the pouches on his utility belt, extracting a small toolkit he'd managed to salvage from his crash. Minutes ticked by, sweat dripping down his brow as he worked with precision. The tension in the air was suffocating, every Vel'arian watching his every move. A single mistake could cost him everything. Finally, the blade hummed to life, a thin, crackling line of energy shimmering in the air. Jack stood and presented it to the leader, who regarded him with a raised brow. "Impressive," she admitted, twirling the weapon with a practiced grace. "But survival here requires more than just technical skill." Before he could respond, the crimson-haired leader snapped her fingers, and the ground beneath him shifted. Hidden panels slid open, revealing a labyrinthine network of tunnels below. Without warning, he was pushed forward, tumbling into the darkness. Jack hit the ground hard, scrambling to his feet just as the opening above sealed shut with a heavy thud. The only light came from bioluminescent plants lining the walls, casting eerie blue hues across the jagged terrain. A low growl echoed from the depths of the tunnel. Jack drew his plasma pistol, its flickering glow casting sharp shadows across his face, his eyes narrowing with steely resolve. If the Vel'arians wanted a test, they were about to get one. He moved forward cautiously, every nerve on high alert, his heart pounding in his chest. From the shadows, a massive creature emerged, all sinewy muscle and gleaming fangs. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a fusion of reptilian and feline traits, its slitted eyes fixating on him with deadly intent. Jack smirked, leveling his weapon. "All right, kitty. Let's see who's really at the top of the food chain." The creature lunged, and Jack fired. Jack's plasma pistol spat a streak of blue fire, the energy bolt slicing through the air with a crackling hiss. The creature recoiled, snarling, its sleek, muscular body coiled for another lunge. Jack's breath came fast and ragged as he backed against the cold tunnel wall, his mind calculating every possible move. The labyrinth sprawled endlessly, its bioluminescent walls throbbing with an unsettling, organic glow. Somewhere in the darkness, he could hear the Vel'arian warriors above, their distant laughter echoing through the stone corridors. "Great," Jack muttered. "Just another day in paradise." The beast circled him now, studying, learning. Its reptilian eyes glowed with predatory intelligence, and Jack knew that brute force alone wouldn't win this fight. He scanned the tunnel quickly. The plants, they weren't just lighting the place, they were reacting to the creature's movements, pulsing brighter whenever it shifted. "Let's see if you like surprises," Jack whispered. He fired another shot, not at the creature, but at the ceiling above it. The blast struck true, sending chunks of bioluminescent vines crashing down, entangling the beast in a sudden web of writhing tendrils. It screeched, thrashing, but the more it struggled, the tighter the vines clung. Jack took off down the corridor, plasma pistol firm in his grip, his heart pounding like a war drum. The tunnel twisted and turned, opening into a vast underground chamber. His boots skidded to a halt as he took in the scene before him. A towering throne loomed at the cavern's heart. It was hewn from dark obsidian, its alien glyphs shimmering eerily in the dim light. And on it sat another Vel'arian, taller, more regal, with eyes that burned with an eerie sapphire light. Her lips curled in an amused smile. "You have done well to make it this far, Offworlder," she said, her voice smooth as silk but edged with steel. "But survival is not enough." Jack exhaled, squaring his shoulders. "I'm getting pretty tired of all the games. What do you want?" She rose from the throne, stepping toward him with deliberate grace. "Strength is proven in struggle, but worth is found in purpose." "What purpose do you serve, Jack Monroe?" Jack clenched his jaw. "I fix things. I survive. And right now, I'm trying to get the hell off this rock." Her smile widened. "Then let us see if you truly are as resourceful as you claim. The final trial awaits." With a wave of her hand, the chamber walls shifted, revealing a complex machine, ancient yet humming with latent energy. Wires, circuits, and mechanisms twisted in chaotic beauty, and Jack immediately recognized it, a power generator, though unlike any he'd encountered before. "Restore this," the Vel'arian queen commanded. "And your fate shall be decided." Jack stepped forward, heart hammering in his chest. He examined the machinery, noting the fractured energy conduits and decayed power cells. His fingers itched to get to work, but doubt gnawed at him. Was this even possible? He reached into his toolkit, pulling out a diagnostic scanner. The readings were erratic, pulsing with unknown frequencies. He had to think fast. Patching the power cells wouldn't be enough. He needed to reroute the energy flow, bypass the corrupted conduits, and recalibrate the ancient core. He worked with feverish precision, his mind racing against the silent judgment of the Vel'arian queen and her watching warriors. Sparks flew as he connected circuits, his hands moving instinctively through the tangle of wires. The seconds dragged on until, with a decisive click, the generator surged to life, bathing the chamber in an electric blue glow. Jack let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The queen regarded him thoughtfully. "Impressive. You may yet have value." Before Jack could respond, the walls trembled, and a deep rumble echoed from the corridors behind him. The beast he had trapped had broken free. "Guess I'm not done yet," Jack muttered, readying his weapon as the queen's eyes gleamed with something between admiration and hunger. "Bring it on." Jack inhaled sharply, the ground trembling underfoot as the beast's growl rumbled through the cavern. His grip tightened around the plasma pistol, but he knew brute force alone wouldn't save him this time. The Vel'arian queen watched with an unreadable expression, her warriors poised at the edge of the chamber, waiting. The beast lunged, its massive form a blur of muscle and teeth. Jack rolled to the side, barely dodging the razor-sharp claws. He fired a quick shot, aiming for the exposed underbelly, but the blast only grazed its armored hide. Jack's mind churned, his senses hyper-aware of every shadow and movement around him. His eyes darted to the ancient power generator he had just repaired. The pulsating blue energy coursing through its conduits gave him an idea. He sprinted toward it, dodging another swipe from the creature, and grabbed a loose power cable. Sparks flew as he ripped it free, the exposed wires crackling with raw energy. "Come on, big guy," Jack muttered, backing toward the beast. "Let's see how you like a real shock." The creature snarled and lunged again. At the last second, Jack jammed the sparking cable into its side. A surge of blue electricity coursed through the beast, sending it into convulsions before it collapsed with a thunderous thud. Jack caught his breath and fixed his gaze on the unmoving creature. His thoughts swirled, trying to process the ferocity of the encounter. The queen descended from her throne, slow and deliberate, her sapphire eyes appraising him with newfound respect. "You have done what many could not, Offworlder," she said, her voice a blend of curiosity and admiration. "You possess more than mere strength. You have ingenuity." Jack wiped the sweat from his brow. "Yeah, well, I'm full of surprises. So, does this mean I pass your trials?" The queen's lips curled into a faint smile. "You have proven your worth. The Velaria respect those who use their minds as well as their might. You may leave now and return to your world, or stay and embrace a new destiny among us." Jack hesitated. The offer was tempting. The Velaria were unlike any civilization he had encountered, fierce, intelligent, and driven by an unyielding code of honor. But deep down, he knew his heart belonged among the stars, chasing the next adventure. "Tempting," he said with a grin. "But I've got unfinished business out there." The queen nodded, as if she had expected his answer. "Then go with our blessing, Jack Monroe. May you find your path." As the warriors led him back to the surface, Jack reflected on the trials he had faced. Strength alone wasn't enough to survive. Adaptability, ingenuity, and a willingness to think beyond the obvious had been his greatest assets. As Jack stepped onto his ship, he took one last look at the jungle world of Xelara, the towering figures standing in silent, watchful reverence. There was a lesson in all of this, one that he would carry with him to the farthest reaches of space. True strength isn't just about power, but about knowing when to fight, when to think, and when to walk away. With a final smirk, Jack engaged the thrusters and soared into the void, ready for whatever came next.